Here's how MrBeast went from being involved in the inappropriate Chris Tyson situation to being cancelled with the most disturbing controversies you could hear about. What the most talked about is, an ex-employee of his just posted yet another YouTube video. I worked for MrBeast, he's a sociopath. This video was very much anticipated, so therefore, let's break it down for you and see how much this video might cause damage on MrBeast's name. Ex-employee Dogpack404, which had posted a video titled I worked for MrBeast, he's a fraud, decided to shock the internet once again with yet another video titled I worked for MrBeast, he's a sociopath. But this time is different because it's not only him that's featuring as an ex-employee, it's Jake Widow, which will be interviewed all throughout the video, who also made a video. Jake Widow is a writer, stand-up comedian, and YouTuber who previously worked as an employee for the MrBeast YouTube channel as a writer, director, and sometimes as a cameraman. This video was posted in November 2020. The YouTuber explains he left the channel to pursue an independent career in stand-up and content creation. He also talked about how it was difficult to cater to the MrBeast audience, which led to him having limited freedom over his writing and direction. Nonetheless, Jake claimed he didn't harbor any resentment toward MrBeast or his past co-workers. In August 2024, Widow released another video detailing his time working with Jimmy MrBeast. Widow released another video detailing his time working with Jimmy, in which he provided an in-depth look at the MrBeast channel and shared his personal experiences. He aimed to give his YouTube audience insight into what Jimmy is really like behind the scenes. Jake's first video explaining his departure from the channel was a lot more reserved in its tone, but in the longer 2024 version, he opened up and made claims that seemingly contradicted his original statements on why he left. The YouTuber mentioned that he was supposed to be part of the core cast of the videos, joining Jimmy, Chris Tyson, and Chandler, but this didn't work out.
I must have gotten swindled. Whoops. I was supposed to be the fourth banana. Supposed to be Jimmy, Chris, Chandler, me. These are conversations I had that I was in the writer's room and I was like, when do I get some screen time? And I never did because I didn't agree with everything. I didn't like the content. I kind of thought a lot of people were assholes.
He went on to claim that he was supposed to part ways with the channel before he actually did, but at the time he wasn't allowed to leave. Jake then provided his opinion on the current situation of Beast's content. He expressed his dissatisfaction by saying,
the content's not good. It's not good. Content's not good. It's algorithm SEO bullshit.
The YouTuber also claimed that MrBeast's videos use marketing tactics that trick viewers into purchasing the channel's products.
That's also bad. Like, can we think about that? Can we think about how advertising and marketing, like, there's a lot of tricks that they literally trick you into buying stuff, and like video games that, like, with the microtransactions, like, that's all, based on like science targeted to kids and their brains.
Jake also touched upon the limitations he faced as a writer for MrBeast, claiming he had to follow a certain style of writing to cater to the channel's vast audience. He used the metaphor of a punk band writing for Taylor Swift as a representation of his time working for the channel. He used the following words to describe the type of situation he faced.
Here's a fun metaphor. I'm a punk band, and I used to write for Taylor Swift. Approachable, inoffensive, formulaic, paint by numbers. I was planting seeds, fellas. I had to be very careful about what I said publicly because I wanted to have a career. But I let some seeds drop.
Widow, through a hypothetical situation, implied that he was paid a sum of $100,000 perhaps as shush money to prevent any sensitive or potentially defaming information about the channel from being leaked. Although Jake doesn't confirm this directly, he does suggest it through this satirical comment in the video.
Did they offer me $100,000? Yes, indeed. Did I take it? Yes, I did. Was it under the assumption of shush money? No, of course. They would never do that. I was told by the man in charge that this is just payment for the challenge, because I was in there for 11 days and I did some challenges, so I got a good chunk of change, and I was told it was because that's what I had completed up to that point.
Overall, Jake Widow expressed that he didn't make this video for personal gain. Rather, he wanted to shed more light on his side of the story. Throughout the video, Jake mentions a documentary he was part of, made by YouTuber Dogpack404, which included an interview with Widow. The YouTuber said he was part of a challenge, which caused him physical pain that was never released on the channel. Further, he alleged that a registered sex offender named Dilawari was part of the MrBeast crew, which has hosted some controversial figures in the past. Jake Widow started highlighting the culture even more in MrBeast's so-called company, with mentioning the following.
He didn't want anyone to get more popular or have more of a way out necessarily. Like, oh, I'm doing my Twitch thing on the side. Don't do that because you could get famous and leave and talk about me negatively. And I could tell that the yes men were, doing well and I was, disgruntled for quite some time.
He was then asked about what, in his opinion, is the fakest video of all.
Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, my car? What? And on the fly, I saw him, because Marcus was in that video. So Marcus is calling his mom. Marcus genuinely had no idea. He genuinely had no idea. But so Marcus is calling his mom, and his mom's freaking out. And I'm like, oh no, they're going to call my mom next. So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom, I go, Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised. And then I hit send, and then they go, call your mom now.
Then things took a really dark turn, and it reminded Jake with the darkest side he has witnessed while working with MrBeast.
It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary, or surviving solitary for whatever. It was one of those solitary confinement videos that got a lot of media attention because everybody saw the premise and thought, what? You shouldn't do that. And people don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me, and it didn't go well.
When they pitched him the idea of the video, they made it seem like a walk in the park and too easy, like he would just earn $300,000 for having fun. But no, according to Widow, this was never the case. He still accepted it because of how much money he could get, and especially at that point where he had no money at all. The way he expressed it is that basically everything is great on paper, but when you go there, you can smell the fresh paint, you can feel the jacuzzi stink, the ice cream machine having the weirdest sounds.
The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I had good people looking out for me. I had a lot of good people looking out for me saying, this we gotta stop. So I just wanted to turn the lights off. And I'm vocalizing to people, I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing.
But one exact instance, despite of all the darkness he witnessed, was the fact that he was supposed to lie about something.
He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans? You know how hard it was to do a take of that and pretend to make it genuine?
It was traumatizing for him, especially since he saw all these other fake videos that were shot and all the breaks the cast of each video have taken, so he just wondered, why wasn't he treated the same? At least turn off the lights.
I put my YouTube on with the whiteboard they gave me. And I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and scrub that footage. You got that whiteboard. Oh no, either that goes in or this footage is unusable. And then, James Warren came in and erased it, don't put that, hey, we can torture him. Don't you dare let him get a plug in there,
And just to give you some background information, Widow's father is in jail for assaulting and harassing a minor, and he grew up with that and got raised with the shadows of his father's story, being everything that people see.
But he says to me, all right, you go to jail, like your dad. And it's a joke, but when my friends do it, it's fine, and Jimmy just wasn't my friend. He was my boss. And that wasn't cool.
According to Widow, he was asked to do a couple of challenges throughout this time there to be able to make some money and get out faster. The first challenge would be to solve a Rubik's Cube, and the second was to run a marathon on the treadmill.
I asked him, how long do I have? He goes, until I get back. And I'm running until 3 a.m. When I got off the treadmill, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red, I couldn't walk, my muscles were like just the lactic acid,
That's where he reached a point of simply not wanting to continue with the video anymore. He was simply done. They wouldn't let him leave. And when he asked how many days he had left, he was hit back with a devastating answer. Realistically speaking, 7 days. Which, if you do the math, he must have spent 23 days or 93 days in there.
And it's like they brought in all my friends, to make it. They brought in all the people I liked and Jimmy. Then everybody was around me making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. Yeah. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God. Everyone was looking at me and he was like Lex Luthor over there. And he turns around, he stands up. He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. When you're watching a video and he's He's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he like touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just...
After MrBeast gave a speech about mental health, they decided to let him go, but not with the initial amount, then actually had the guts to text him and say the following: how are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Then other texts were sent to Docback as well, such as, hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check on you. Hey, I'm good. And I appreciate that I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit. I'm back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better, like I can walk. But my feet are still covered on those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with family. Also, it will be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They are giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also a slap in the face. But hey, I'm out. I'm alive. Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked up, and honestly fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you ever need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash in New York. Love that for him. They must have programmed the care about mental health update. He said, we also don't want you to s/ and I swear to our Lord and Savior, he stopped himself from saying Sue. At the 44-minute mark of the video, Jake Widow claimed that a MrBeast employee was fired for sexually assaulting some very young people. He also talked about the YouTuber covering stuff up, claiming he allegedly hired a known registered sex offender.
From what I hear, I can't confirm or deny, from what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people. And they knew that. He's working at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people.
Widow also went on to say that MrBeast and his company covered up the situation, adding that the person allegedly on the offender registry worked as a manager.
And they covered up the fact that not only did he work there, but he was like the manager when it all started. And you know that he knew, and because he'll be in videos, he'll be in thumbnails, he'll be around. And whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? And that your face can be looked up on a thing? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender?
All we know is that the alleged employee was referred to as Delaware because he was not permitted back in the state.
It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname?
In the same video, Dogback404 leveled serious accusations against MrBeast's cameraman, claiming that they trapped female contestants in a circle while filming 100 boys versus 100 girls for $500,000.
During the 100 boys versus girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable. You trap these girls in a circle and make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes, and then you try to them.
Small spoiler alert, this is what part 3 of Dogback's video will be about, so stay tuned. And now towards the end of the video, Jake mentioned that he would start working on his own documentary explaining the situation. This is simply getting worse by the second, and nothing is really clear on where exactly MrBeast might go from here. One controversy after the other, victims on his hands, and his sex offender friend's hands. So will it be the end of MrBeast? Therefore, I would like to invite you all to sit at our cafe, watch this video again, and think about this objectively, and see whether this will be the end of MrBeast or not. For now, stay tuned.